Welcome back to PrepperNow. Coming on the heels of the crisis report. We're not going to get real long-winded. We've had a pretty deep, long day here. But I want to talk about this whole thing that's going on with the Telegram founder and everything else, and why you should get prepped and be concerned. So let's start off with the basics. As you've probably heard by now, Friday night or Saturday morning, Pavel Durov, 39-year-old, still pretty young, really smart guy, started a website, messaging service, I don't even know what to call it, called Telegram. And, Telegram, personally, I think is phenomenal. And one of the greatest things about it is it doesn't have an algorithm. It just puts stuff in you in real time. It's all open source. Some of it's raw. Some of it's, it's true freedom, really. But it also, that comes with a price. And the price is that there are a lot of things on there that are bad. People use it. But guess what? People use all kinds of stuff. And I'm a big fan of it grows in the dark and it dies in the light. I think it's better when things are all out in the open. And the reason why is because if they're out in the open, they're easier to find. If you make people embed and bury and hide and do all those things, it's going to be tougher to find. Okay? It's going to be tougher to find. It's going to be tougher to figure out who these people are. It's not great to see really troubling things happen on a battlefield. I saw a guy, I think he was in Myanmar or whatever. He was getting ready to shoot an RPG, okay? Training, whatever. Guy's coming over because he looked like he was doing it wrong. He waved him off, said, "I got this." Shoots the RPG and literally takes his head off, and his head goes bouncing like a basketball behind him for about 10 yards. It was a very gross thing to see. It was real. But at the same time, it happened, So, yeah, there's tough stuff like that. There are people that use these platforms for doing really bad stuff. But, that's a very small part of it. And they have ways of complying. I mean, Telegram's statement came out and said, look, we comply with all of the Digital Services Act, as it's known, the DSA, in Europe, and we do what we're supposed to do. If they see something that is illegal, they'll alert people. I mean, there's flagging, there's all kinds of stuff. Now, does that mean that things get through, or don't get through and everything is stopped and controlled? No, of course not. Things get through. It is what it is. But as soon as they find it, they try to work with it, right? Because nobody wants to see nasty images, and you can insert your own thoughts on that or what you think those might be. I'm not going to get into it. But this whole thing is really concerning, okay? Now, I call this Get Prepped. The reason why is because they're going to start to really go after people's ability to speak freely. As someone said on the crisis report, I forget who the poster was, freedom of speech is a human right. It's important for this stuff to be seen because let's say that there are terrible things going on in, a prison in Iraq, say during a large war by America in Iraq, and images come out that are extremely bad and showing American service members doing terrible, inhumane things to people. I'm referencing, of course, the prison, whatever, from 20 years ago when those pictures came out. If we don't have the ability to see that stuff and to call it out for what it is, as disheartening and nasty as it was to see, those things get out usually on platforms like Telegram first. So, and where does it stop? Now, first of all, France, they're accusing him of terror and other things, and they want to put him away for 20 years. Where does this go from here? What's next? I mean, they're going after X, Elon Musk. Pavlovsky is his name, the head of Rumble, got on a plane and GTFO'd from Europe because he doesn't know where all this is going. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, these people are controlled opposition, all that, and then, lizards run everything and whatever. I don't know about that, I don't. I always keep my mind open. I'm just going to leave it at that. You think whatever you think, I'll think what I think. And if you want to say that here, you're welcome. I don't care. This is all very problematic because they're going to start to go after the fundamental right of freedom of speech. If you have ever seen the first iterations of PrepperNow, what it said was news, rights, and preps, and it was the middle one. I'm very into rights. I think you have all kinds of rights that should be protected. I think freedom of speech, freedom of the press, even if terrible, should be allowed. If CNN wants to go out and put out horse crap stories, they should be allowed to do it. But we should have the ability through places like Telegram and X and other to go, wait a second, we just saw what you put up there and it's total horse crap. Okay? That's what these platforms are really good for. Sure, you've got that, very minuscule amount of people that are using it for nefarious means, but you do have a lot of people that are using it for good. They're using it for disseminating good information because they know most of the stuff we're getting from official sources is terrible. It's crappy. It's half-truths. It's whatever. And you're not going to make an informed decision unless you have everything. And you should have a place where you have everything, and it's not algorithm to you'll see this, but you won't see that because we like them better because they vote a certain way and all that. That's all BS. And it shouldn't go on. I think one of the most attractive things about Telegram is the fact it doesn't have an algorithm. It's just there. The platform is very well done. And so because of that, they want to take them out, right? So, they're trying to send a message that you can't say what you want to say and, you're evil if you believe in freedom and speech and all that. And it's got to stop. And as I said in the open of the crisis report, and I'm going to say it here, this goes to bad places. And the people in officialdom that are trying to do this and trying to make and take away people's rights, when you take away people's voices, they get violent. It has happened all throughout history. When you have freedom of speech, people can say it and they get it off their chest. They have a right to protest. I disagree with this. They have a way to get things out there. And when you start to take this away from people, they will turn to things that governments honestly can't control. They think they can. And most of these silver spoon shitheads think they can control this stuff. They can't. There's no way. Okay? So I don't know what Durov's sentence is, but he's supposed to get sentenced tonight for all kinds of terrible things because he allowed it on his platform. So, Embassy of Russia said the 39-year-old Russian-born billionaire, as soon as the news of Durov's arrest broke, we immediately addressed the French authorities for clarification on the reasons and demanded that they ensure the protection of his rights and provide consular access, which they should. That is international norms. France denied that. So, France denied that. So he was born in Russia. He is no fan of Putin. He, was told in 2011 or 12 that he should comply with Russian law and out people that were saying things on the early forms of Telegram and other things he had. And he, published a picture of him flipping off supposedly Putin. Okay? This guy believes in true freedom. He really is, from what I've seen. Now, of course, people are going to say, oh, he's a controlled asset, yada, yada. I don't know about that, okay? Until proven otherwise, I'm going to operate as if he is all on the up and up. So it says the arrest of Pavel Durov means that there is no freedom of speech. It means that freedom of speech in Europe is dead. Now, basically, they have a hostage, and they will try to blackmail Russia. They'll try to blackmail users on Telegram not only to get control, but also to block the network here in Russia. And they will. I mean, Russia's no fan. That's why they're coming. They're trying to talk to them because they're probably thinking, hey, we can, leverage this. And supposedly they've already blocked things, on Telegram today. So, don't think I'm coming off like Russia is some bastion of freedom. It's not. It's the farthest thing from it. One of the farthest things from it. I think China holds the key mantle for it, but the whole thing just is terrible. And you need to get prepped for when you can't say things that you want to say. And the problem with all this is that you're going to create the kind of thing where if people can't say this stuff, they're going to do nasty things. And they're not going to be able to handle it. If you need, examples, look at what's been going on in the United Kingdom. As much as they're trying to hold and curtail all that, I can assure you, if they really start chucking people in jail for the, years and years, because they have the audacity to call a cop a POS and scream at a building that's supposedly holding new neighbors, they're going to get really unpleasantly surprised with what eventually happens. Because when people feel like they have no options left, they're going to act as if they have no options left, okay? So, Medvedev, of course, said, for all our common enemies now, he is Russian and therefore unpredictable and dangerous. Durov should finally realize that one cannot choose one's I don't know what he's saying here, so... Anyway, he's basically saying, you were Russian, you had the audacity to call out stuff in Russia. We got mad at you, but now, look what happened in the West. And the West is same thing as, as what the Soviet Union is. And so, none of us are any better. I don't know what he's trying to say. He's probably give some kind of a fable about snakes and rats and stuff, whatever. The military is... a lot of them use this stuff. So this is an excellent point here by this guy. One little known feature of this war is that Ukrainian military largely communicates with Signal. Russian military uses Telegram. It is. These are forms of communication. Telegram is effectively, in its nomenclature, a messaging service, right? So they this is all about going and furthering the war. Really, when you take all the top off it. That's why I'm saying get prepped. This is all coming. It's going to get worse and worse. They said he committed terror. He's trafficking, fraud, all kinds of stuff. And it was just because people used it for such things on his platform. People do the same thing on X. They do the same thing on Facebook. They do the same thing everywhere. Okay. You might as well just shut down the entire internet if you want to stop all this crap. But that's not going to happen. So they're just trying to leverage this to make it so they can stop the sites that they don't like. Because this is where the freedom fighters have gone and where they're trying to use it to show people what's really going on with some things of concern, not just war, but in the banking sector and, society, what's going on with all the people coming to all these nations now, all this stuff. So everybody's weighing in. Tucker Carlson is weighing in. It's actually a really good interview that he did. Pavlovsky of Rumble took off. Elon Musk said, point of view, it's 2030 in Europe and you're being executed for liking a meme. You know what the sad thing is that is not outside the realm. That is... That's not outside the realm. So Pavel Durov, Russian-born Emirati founder of the messaging app. He lives in UAE now. Reportedly been arrested at Le Bourget airport from near Paris. So, we really are getting into the gray state, for those that don't know what the gray state is. So, Elon has reacted. Slam Zuckerberg. Yeah, Zuckerberg, his platform. God, you want to talk about a waste of freaking time. I had the misfortune of going on there today. I had to do some stuff. And Facebook is just crap now. I don't know what, I do know what happened. It's Zuckerberg. all it is just a big freaking advertising site. It's like you go out and all you want to do is ride your bike so you can go see all of the different billboards around. Like, stupid. So Musk, of course, I mean, maybe it's a message to Musk. I don't know. Free Pavel is trending. I've put it up onto my X and my Gab and my Minds and Truth social platforms where I post this kind of stuff. Free Durov. But they asked him about Zuckerberg, why he hasn't been arrested for similar allegations. And if you know anything about what Lizardberg has been doing, he takes his algorithm and it's pushed really nefarious things that if I were to put out in full form in Word, would basically get me in trouble here. So to think that Facebook is any kind of bastion of freedom or anything is just a lie. Zuckerberg is allowed terrible things to go on his platform as well. But they asked him about him. He said, why he haven't been arrested for similar allegations? He said, because he already caved into censorship. And that's true. He does censor. But his algorithm also will push people towards really nefarious, nasty things. So it's not just Pavel and Elon. So he said Instagram has had a massive exploitation problem. I won't say anything about that, but no arrest for Zuck as he censors free speech and gives governments backdoor access to your data. And that's the truth. People use Instagram for really terrible things. I've seen it. I'm not going to mention it. I've seen things that are questionable everywhere on every platform. And I'll leave it at that. You can use your imagination. But yeah, he already caved to censorship pressure. Instagram has a massive exploitation problem. Meta, Facebook's owner, says the company complies with law enforcement, and they probably try to. But the fact is that people can get around it, So all this is going to do is just set off a mass of, wars, basically, and all this big tech crap is going to start, they're going to start going after everybody, and they're going to start doing things to make it so you can't say what you want to say, and you're using code and all that. And that's the other thing. Like, they're going to try and stop it. It'll find a way. You can't stop all this stuff. It's going to find a way. It's better to just let it all out in the open and to figure out who's saying the stuff that's illegal and take them out. That's it. That's the best way to go. Let people think they have freedom of speech, and if they're saying and doing nasty things and using the platforms for illegal stuff, go get them. Find them. It's 2024. You can figure that out. But when you push people to the dark web, when you push people to other platforms or whatever, they're going to go there and they're going to thrive just as much. It's not going to stop. So, this is by some guy named Benz. Anyway, they're trying to warn people. I saw this one was interesting because this is, on the other side of things. Putin seized $100 million from Google to fund the war machine. Now all this is going on. They're funding and taking money from different websites, and this is bad. Like, you shouldn't do this. I'm no fan, of Putin and other things, but this sets a bad precedent. This is why the sanctions on Putin were not smart, because it set a bad precedent. Put, people's love and belief behind the American dollar into jeopardy and check, and here we are. I mean, this just leads to bad stuff. So they took Google's money and they're funding the war machine with it, and now it's all going to come a tit for tat. I mean, all this is just really not good. It's getting very problematic. It's not going to stop anything. People are going to thrive wherever. The traffickers are going to find other places to traffic. There's a reason I don't have a Facebook page for this whole thing, because I honestly don't trust them. I go to certain sites for a reason. I want full freedom of speech. I'm not sharing anything illegal. I have a political voice, and I want to be able to use it. I want to be able to say that I think that certain things that are going on in our culture are terrible. But when it starts here and they start taking away, Durov all in the name of, stopping terror and all that, well, it's going to lead to more, Wait till we get into the time. This is a common theme here. Wait until we get into the time between the popularity contest at the beginning of November and the interregnum area, and then, of course, January when things get solidified, if they're even ready. I still am a firm believer that we're going to be in some form of lawfare at that point. But imagine what that time is going to look like, how chaotic it's going to look like, and if all this ramps up and they start really going after people. And if you think that things are not on the up and up for whatever, on whatever topic, and you have the audacity to go and say, hey, I saw this, and they say, nope, you can't do that, that's illegal, you're, spreading terror because you think that this is not on the up and up and it's going to cause people to react in a bad way. Why are people reacting in a bad way? Because you found something you thought was interesting, or because the people lost their political voice and they can't share things in a political way? I can assure you, it is because their political voice has been squashed. So, he got suspended for 90 days for quoting Joseph Goebbels. You terrible person. That's what I mean. I mean, and I've seen numerous things like that, SRD. Numerous things like that. People got busted for sharing things. And then magically I've seen things that you'd be like, holy crap, how's that getting away? But they're of a certain political persuasion. I've seen, scenes from, events that take over downtown streets with a whole bunch of colors that were kind of really disgusting to look at. People parading around as if they are animals and such. You can use your imagination. That's allowed. But say, hey, I think what happened at, a war-torn country and a bomb hitting and tore kids up, I want to share that. Well, if you're not on the right political side or you're not on the right team or whatever, you don't have the ability to do that. They're going to take that away. And that's why you should get prepped. And what this is going to do, going back to the guy that said, Ukraine uses Signal and Russia uses Telegram, well, now they're going to start to take that. It's basically a war. We're in a war. This is 5th gen, folks. This isn't just, some battlefield in Eastern Europe with mud and crap all over the place. This is your computer screen. All of this is getting really intense. And it's important. It's important to know. It's important to share. It's important to say, hey, I see this. I disagree with it. I want people to know. If you don't have that right to do it, it's going to lead to very terrible things. And these governments that think they're going to be able to stop people from doing this stuff, it's not going to happen. They're going to find ways around it. And in the end, it's going to turn really bad. There will be repercussions. So, I hope they come to their senses in France. I do. I hope they say, you know what? We overstepped. This guy runs a internet, channel or site that's becoming incredibly popular. Just manage the rules and do all that. And, if not, then we'll take your ability to function here. And then from there, he can make his decisions. But still, putting him in jail for a bunch of trumped up, charges that are, he didn't do. He just had a platform where some of them happened on. They happened on all of them. Trust me. If that's the precedent we're sending, then we're all in trouble. And you should be prepping for war and all kinds of stuff like that. You should be doing things around your house. You should be doing things. That's what we did all weekend long. We redid our pig chalet. We redid, chicken stuff and laid rock. And, we're pressure washing and everything else. We're trying to get ready for a really tough time. And so you should be focusing on your preps and prepping and getting food. But you also should be telling people about all the terrible things going on and trying to maintain that we don't lose our ability to speak, because freedom of speech is a fundamental human right. And if we don't have that ability, then terrible things are going to befall us, and our grandchildren will curse us for not stepping up and saying this is wrong and trying to stop it. Hopefully peacefully. All right, friends, thank you so much. Do get prepped, and I hope all this gets resolved, but if not, we're going to have guys like this looking us in the eye down the road, the Western version thereof, making it so we can't have a political voice, and then you're going to really see the boot on your face of humanity for the rest of time. All right, hit the like button, leave a comment. God bless you all. I appreciate you, and thanks for visiting PrepperNow. Subscribe if you are new here, and we're going to see you on the next one. God bless.